From the factory floor to the executive suite, former employees acquire Rockford's oldest manufacturing plant. But WIFR's Nathaniel Langley learns the union for past workers claims it has a right to return in the relaunch.
Sydney, October 2024 marked the end of a chapter for Goodnight as manufacturer Accurite announced bankruptcy and began laying off hundreds of union workers. Now 4 employees turned owners hope to pick up that story. Out of the dark and onto the factory floor.
This moment right now is a God moment. I'm being serious with you. This is personal for me.
Tim Davis grew up in Rockford's Fairgrounds housing projects.
And I'm proud of it.
He's now one of 4 former employees relaunching the Goodnight facility as Rockford Brake Manufacturing.
None of us seen this moment, seen this time, or even believed that it could happen.
The plant's reopening will create 150 jobs, nearly a year after manufacturer Accurite laid off more than 300 crew members.
We're not just celebrating, again, the reopening of this facility, we're celebrating really an entire city that never gives up.
New owners and management credit Terraflaws for creating an opening to produce brake drums in Rockford.
If you want to have a supply chain that's dependable, why would you look somewhere else other than Rockford?
But United Auto Workers Local 718 says it's been kept in the dark since the plant's closing. The union claims its agreement with Accurite allows laid-off workers to return.
I don't believe that's true. We can't adopt the previous contract because the business is so radically different than what it was.
Rockford Brake CEO Paul Wright says it'll be up to workers if they wish to unionize.
We're not anti-union, we're not pro-union, we're pro-Rockford Brake, and we're just trying to get the factory running.
Wright says it'll cost around $7 million to reopen the facility. Limited operations should restart in November.
But the heavy lifting start once we get iron out of the cube below. Talk to me in a year.
The company says it has more than $10 million in customer sales already committed. It expects to provide $370 million in economic activity for the Rockford region in the next few years.
The state of Illinois played a role in Goodnight's reopening. The company will receive startup incentives to offset payroll taxes. In a statement, Governor J.B. Pritzker addressed the reopening of the former Goodnight factory, saying in part, here in Illinois, we strive to support our businesses and strengthen our communities through new economic opportunities. And that's exactly what we're doing in Rockford. Our state incentives are empowering Rockford Brake Manufacturing to bring 150 jobs to the area and reopen a historic Rockford factory.